Daffy. Enough with the lollygagging and the loitering. Let's get going. Only a few days later, and autumn is in full swing. Leaves desiccate and litter the ground. Chill sets in. The white gulls ever rejoice as every fucking chain brings out pumpkin spice flavored garbage masquerading as food and or drink. My cynicism aside, I actually enjoy the weather. It's the cold-blooded wimps I find myself in the company of that can't stand it for very long. Apparently, it can snow in Dino-fornia too. Again, this has always felt to me like the whole White Christmas jacking off thing. Just like, fuck off, man. It doesn't snow there. Just live with it. And if it does snow, it's like a couple of... Like, what a weird situation would you need for that to happen? Also, if this were to happen, Inko would fucking die because the Californians would just drive right over him. Because these people in Texas and the like, right, they don't know how to drive in snow. They lose their mind and just start going for every pedestrian they can, hoping to just slow themselves down. So I grit my teeth in practice for when that comes to pass. I like how it's not even snowing. He's just like, yeah, it's gonna snow soon. What? On my morning commute, I found myself turning back just as Mr. Ferris boards. "Ah, Mr. Moose, good to see you. How have you been?" Mr. Ferris's role has always kind of been like, I know a lot of people see him as a parental figure, but in context, he's supposed to be like he's supposed to be himself, right? He's supposed to be a bit of an inspiration to our good friend Incognito. Whatever. Alright, Mr. Ferris. Strike me just how little I've seen him of late. I must suspect he quietly finished his work, so I ask her, "Are you? It's been a while." "That it has. Nothing too spectacular in my world either. Meetings and other matters across the district required my attention. But it's back to the grindstone. Why would you say nothing is spectacular and then say it's back to the grindstone? Wouldn't this be the grindstone if it's nothing spectacular? Anything new in my absence?" Like, you can just cut this whole fucking sentence. No one cares. "Anything new in my absence? I fill him in on a couple of my classes, update him on my photography endeavors, even showing him some on the LCD screen of my fucking LCD screen. Ugh. Get an OLED, man! Ben, buy a better camera to give away to people." "Very good. It's good to know that the artistry of a fine institution has gripped you. Not everybody is so driven." He has a grim pout and a far-off look. Part of me wondering if Liz has talked to him about Damon in detail. Of course she has. Who am I kidding? Honestly, how much does Liz talk to her uncle? Like, what's that connection like? Is it solid? Is it like every once in a while? We lapse in small talk about the weather and other banal bullshit before something pushes itself to the forefront of my mind. "Hey, Mr. Ferris, it might be hard to ask, but what is love?" "Baby, don't hurt me." He's taken aback by the question before rubbing at his chin. Certainly unexpected. The reason you're pondering. Listen, man, you are literally a school inspector. Shouldn't you be super familiar with why people ask this question? Like, I know it's not estrus season, right? Yeah. It's like, my man, you have been in places. You have been in places where this question has come up. Ugh, whatever. Get out of here. Yeah, you know, just I probably look evasive as hell right now, and fittingly so, because I'm trying my damnedest to avoid his gaze. It's something I'm trying to get a beat on. Mr. Ferris hums in contemplation. "I see. Well, it's not an easy question. Everyone would have a different answer for you. But if I had to put it into words..." He lowers his head and shuts his eyes, saying, "I suppose in my experience it could best be summarized as to love someone is to accept them as they are. Warts and all. To be loved is to undergo..." Listen, I don't know if you should ever let Ferris have this talk, though. Does he have this talk in the game? He feels so weirdly out of place from all things considered. All apples and tomatoes put in the same room. Does Ferris even show up in this chapter ordinarily? Yeah, he shows up for the path evaluation. And that's it. Does he show up in Chapter 9? No, Chapter 9 ends with him falling asleep. So we just inserted Ferris here for some reason? Like, I get it that Ferris is kind of... It can be a bit of a fan favorite to some people, but... I don't know if having him talk about love makes a lot of sense for the character. We just had a talk with love about several other characters. Why are we in a different chapter talking about... You could do this so much better. Like, it's really weird to end your chapter and then basically do what you did last chapter in the next one. I'm just saying you don't need this. Not to mention, you could just have this conversation later when Ferris is doing the chapter evaluation, doing like how well is your score doing? You know, you could do it there. And then it doesn't feel so fucking crowbarred in there. Maybe I should be an editor. I'm very good at yelling at people. Really is one of my top tier skills. I'm not that good at it, so that should tell you something. Should tell you something, buddies. Where were we? So I don't want to talk about this. Dial it back. Loving your... Like, I just don't know if Ferris should be the guy, though. Also, him pshawing feels a little too low for the character. He's very kind and cordial and respectful about things. It's kind of like having Inko say swears. It doesn't fit him. Unless the situation really calls for it. A really low-key, going to school metro situation. Anyway, that's kind of it. That's all this is for. Ferris shows up just to tell Inko, by the way, if you want to fuck someone, maybe be yourself or something. I don't know. I'm a little out of it for the rest of the day, and admittedly a little distant even to Olivia. How's that unusual? Didn't your whole relationship start a little distant? Even though I'm able to acknowledge it, it feels oddly out of my hands. I'm sure she picks up on it. When lunch rolls around, I like to take mine outside. Olivia follows me begrudgingly, moaning all the while. There should be a period there. This feels like you're going a little too far with the sentence. The blood will freeze in my veins, Anon! And nobody said you had to, and come on, it's only 70. You don't have to if you don't want to. How cold is 70? Oh, let me pull up my little calculator machine. It's 70 Fahrenheit. 21 degrees Celsius? How is this cold? Oh my god, you warm-blooded losers. It snows here! And they consider 21 Celsius cold. How does it snow? And they don't immediately die. She's wearing a hoodie. She's not that coldly dressed. Yeah. But you'll probably choke to death on your sandwich if I'm not here. Ha ha. So funny, I almost forgot to laugh at that one. We joked so hard, they nearly hurled last week. Smug sneers match in smugness. Okay, listen. Just say her leer is matched in smugness only. Like, why are you smugging twice? You don't need the double smug. Like, say her smug sneer is matched only by her trolling tail, or just her... Like, you don't need to double up. I get it. We get it. You know, that's a low blow. Damien fucking killed it with that joke. Bad out about halfway down my throat. She hums affirmatively before declaring... Jesus, why would you write it like that? Why are you writing so formal? Just says she nods along. And then just before... I don't know, man. Yup. And if you think of something so stupid you choke yourself to death, I'd have to kill you. So brave the elements, I must. Roll my eyes. It's not like I'm trying to talk. Not like I'm trying to talk her out of it, but I guess I'm looking for a moment apart. Don't get me wrong, I have more fun with her than anyone else, but between that and my own overthinking, I can't write everything in my head. I'm gonna really open Pandora's box by going to that wedding. Soon enough, it's just the two of us. Just the two of us. It's two kitties! And they sing the song. I love that meme. I feel like this would work better if you start the chapter off with this. If you're gonna make a callback to it twice. Like, once is like, Annel's a little shit poster, but twice you gotta establish at the beginning as a little cute little... He's got Bill Withers in his head because he's full of love! That's cute. You missed your shot. My head is all jumbled up, and our words are no good when think of say. The silence is awkward for the first time in recent memory between us. I want to bring up the wedding, but there's a dangerous track, since I might spill my recent thoughts on love. Looking at Olivia now, she's huddled down into a chair as a hood pulled up over her head. That cold? Was that your first idea? Well, what can I say? Must be an empath. She sticks her tongue out at me but can't hide her own smile. Seriously, why come out here? I mean, you wanted to, yeah. I tried to egg on. Yes, and you. I haven't looked her in the eyes as deeply in a while. Those same silver pools with texture. Jesus Christ, Anna, you don't talk like this when you're crushing. Textured striations? You want to know what textured striations makes me think about? When fat people get fat so fast their skin tears apart. Ugh! This is like when men think it's super hot when you describe a woman as being moist and damp, and I'm like, mother... Ugh. Listen, I don't... Listen, all I'm saying is, women are meat, they are not applesauce. Ugh. Although juicy is also really weird. You do know that part smells, right? Because when you describe something wet as juicy, all I can think about is that one time I had to clear out a shower pit, and it was just full of the most disgusting gunk I've ever seen, and the guy who pulled it out was like, "That's juicy! Fuck! Ah! I'm going to die. Thanks." Hey, stop looking at me like that! Well, you did it first. In an instant, we're both flooded and misted. Yes. Why is the descriptive text explaining everything that's obvious from the text, from like the conversation log? The conversation is extremely evocative, and like you're just hamming on stuff. Come on, like this you need because you need to establish that Anon isn't actually talking, like he's thinking. But like everything else about this really does contain everything that's going on. You know, you don't need to immediately make it clear that he's jolting. All things considered, maybe leave it to the audience. Anyways, where you from? Anyway, where you from, Iceman? I want to make a quip about being humanophobic, that being a humanophobic slur, but how would it? How? If you're talking about the Inuits, you can just say Eskimo, man. Just be the bigger brand. But I decided I'd only end up fumbling it. Shit, she already knows the broad strokes of my hometown, but I don't remember if I said where I was from. You're from Springfield. Where it is, nobody knows. Oh, can't be the last time I thought of home. Guess it can't be called that now. It is this place. Fuck, stop sinking so hard. From, a place called Rock Bottom. Not much further. Pangea? We're not in America? The Midwest. Listen, if you actually have a continent that's Pangea, right, you would have so many fucking subdivision continents. You would not just go with the Midwest. That would be way too big of an area. You don't even have Canada and Mexico to bounce off of, right? You might have some Great Lakes. You might have some Great Lakes. Ah, makes sense. Fuck you mean makes sense? Only crazies come from the Midwest. I've been told that's actually true, though. What does it say about you that your best friend is Midwest crazy? That's probably overstepping it at her. She smirks and leans forward. Like, just keep this line. Just keep this line, get rid of this one, and have her do this. It captures the vibe way better. Means I'm the weird, quiet girl. The Midwest craziest for a best friend. My heart skips a beat. Really? So, what was it like? Try and tell me I'm wrong. Well, Also, wouldn't Olivia ask about how the whole wedding thing went? You know, if she actually has any interest in you, wouldn't she be interested in what you did with your life? Holy shit, this guy owns a lot of tabletop books. What the actual hell? I'm gonna type a good old holy shit at this man. Well, I rack my brain as I lean back before ultimately coming to... Shit, okay. So, there were a lot of crazies and not a lot of redeeming it. Can't be that cool if it brought me here. I mean, like down in 40, but you know my story. I mean, hey! How were things before I showed up? Oh, horrible. Everyone here sucked. I mean, they still do, I guess. But for real, most of the faculty had to stick up their ass and the student body was hanging on for dear life. I'd do anything to get out of here if I could take you and Damien with me. I don't know if you should take Damien with you. It's a third wheel. Huh. I'm at a loss for words. Pretty high esteem, isn't that? I mean, she's known Damien for practically her whole life, and me for less than half a year. She doesn't even hesitate in mentioning me right after him. Though she mentioned you before him. A clever Anon would note that. Colorful. Oh, wait. Voice principal scalar. Colorful. A displeased, nasally, unfamiliar voice comments. In that moment, you could hear a pin drop in China. Oh, yeah. I forgot how early this is in the actual sequence. But yeah, like, we already did a Ferris moment. Why couldn't you just have Ferris be here? I mean, I guess it's like, oh no, Olivia's here and Anon can talk. Why can't Anon chase after him and, like, talk about something? Like, oh, he dropped something in the fucking... There's so many ways to make this work that are not fucking crowbarring in scenes you don't need. And you could keep it short, too, because he's like, listen, I don't have time to talk about this, Anon, but I'll give you the basics. That way, he doesn't have to do all this. Come on! You were this close! Hold up. Hold up. There's only one appropriate response to this, okay? I don't fucking care how you think or feel. About your life. Where is it? Where is it? Is this even the right one? This seems like a whole different thing.
You were close.
Man, I love that shit. Quality. Oh. Oh, man. Yeah. You were close. Yeah, they picked some really good soundtracks, things for this. It's not like made themselves. In that moment, you could hear a pin drop in China. You're on Pangea! Where the fuck is China? It's as if the surrounding birds all held a collective breath as God himself stalled the very winds that only a moment ago harrowed Olivia with their chill. We both slowly creak our stiff-necked heads towards the source. Principal Scalar stands only a few yards away, steam blowing out of her earholes as she purses her lips in quivering rage. Why the fuck are they outside anyway? It feels so weird for them to do during a lunch. Yeah. It's way too cold for dinosaurs. We're gonna go for an exterior building walk. Her teeth grind horrifically. Why does Anon care about her dental situation? As she stares down at Olivia in particular. It's only then that I notice Mr. Ferris at his side, dressed in his usual weekday best. I don't often see him during the day, but it reminds me of just how lonely my mornings will be when he finally wraps up the audit. What were you saying just now about student morale, Principal Scalar? Mr. Ferris's usual teddy bear charm is instantly replaced by an oppressively cold gaze. Is it a gaze at that point? That makes even me shiver. Shouldn't Anon say something like to be shiver and collateral? Feels a bit more sassy. A quick scratching of his pen on his clipboard, and I can only imagine the kind of venomous note that warranted. Olivia covers quickly, swallowing harshly before she rasps. Mr. Head, ever since Principal Scalar took over as a principal, things have gotten better. Listen, I get it, right, but remove the double principal. Please remove the triple principal. Unexpected cover for Scalar. Even her face pales back to its normal shade with a look of surprise at that. Right. I find myself interjecting. Jesus Christ, it's so overwritten. To bring the conversation to a quicker end. You're not making it quicker for the reader by talking this much. I have no real complaints in any case. Like, this is a statement you say to end something quickly. Fuck off with your over elaboration of the obvious. Let the text talk. My God. Sir, Mr. Moose. Mr. Fitz is a really good actor, or he sees me nothing more than an average student. That's a hell of a cold look. Would you say your time in St. Helens with your transfer has been both fruitful and comfortable? 1,000 possible words come to mind. Some embittered that it took this long to get comfortable. Were you ever expecting to be comfortable and it wasn't your plan to vanish off the face of the earth? Others are necessarily expositive on all the hardships up until now. What hardships? Not that much happened, all things considered. Some others just get so ranting. Looking at Olivia? Yeah. Again, don't fuck off with this. Yeah. It'd be a lie to put it any other way. Olivia eyes also slowly my lingering gaze as I say my piece, with Mr. Ferris quickly resuming the conversation as her face flashes a vibrant pink. Yes, I would need to do and nothing else. I mean, considering how long this fucking paragraph and a half are, I don't think so. What about you, Miss Olivia Halford? We like to call this in the business ludonarrative dissonance. You might say, Safi, ludo refers to games, which this is not. It's a fic. And I'm like, fine, we'll just call it narrative dissonance. Meta-narrative dissonance, technically speaking, but hey. What about you, Mrs. Halford? Any comments regarding St. Amand High? Be honest, if you would. Olivia Olivia furiously rubs at her face before exhaling to center herself. How the fuck would you just let the text be? Well, the school needs more handicap access ramps, and the elevator in the main building is busted. Sometimes it gets stuck for a minute on end. I find myself smiling and nodding at the subtle request, but why? Wait, is she kind of sort of admitting her disability? Olivia meant at the start of the year would have probably dragged herself up a flight of stairs rather than seek help. My smile deepens, and so does Mr. Ferris. Something I want to point out, and this is something that has been... I think I mentioned this before, but I feel like it's one of those things that's worth bringing up every once in a while because it's kind of central. Olivia is what we like to call a clean cripple. Listen, I talk to a lot of people who have disabilities, and they like to talk about the dirty and the grimy part of it. About the whole, like, you know... And I feel like they would say stuff like, it's kind of annoying that Olivia doesn't have to deal with the obvious questions of, like, bladders and bowels and, like, can she actually, like, how does she deal with toilets? Because being in a wheelchair, a big question is how do you handle toilets? Because sitting on a toilet, taking off your pants, and do you even have bladder control are, like, huge questions for if you're paralyzed from the waist down. And her being in the knees is, like, there's so much effort taken for Olivia's disability to be this thing they can just wipe under the fucking rug. It's like, oh, she can dance. You know, it makes sense because, you know, it's only from the knee down, which is a really weird injury, and the game never acknowledges that. And, like, Olivia's disability doesn't come up in any way that I think they would consider, like, legit. Like, yeah, it's so she can't climb up the stairs to go see the fountain, but, like, she could have just tripped on, fell on the fountain and been injured, and she couldn't go there for a while because she broke her leg. Like, nothing about that experience is disabled. It is injury that makes it that way. And I feel that Olivia is like a really clean cripple, in that you don't actually have to contend with the fact that she's disabled. It never feels significant, like anyone has to make any fucking compromises. It's never like that. Like, we get the opening scene with her racing around. That's like the biggest acknowledgement it has for, like, okay, she has accommodations. Those barely come up. She has an elevator key. That's mostly used for a hiding spot. It's like... I wonder how the demo would have handled this. If I recall correctly, Wani does, like, legitimately have Olivia's disability be a point of contention. Where she, like, basically asks Inko a whole bunch of fucking questions. Like, Olivia, can't you see this man is, like, completely disinterested in you? Why do you ask him so many questions? You dumb. Ugh. Ugh. Also, I love how Wani it's, like, super unclear. Is this a high school or are they in college? It's not a good question to ask yourself. It would work better if the world is, like, significantly different from ours, because then it's like, oh, what kind of weird school is this? But you never get that vibe, so it's like, what? High school campus? Huh? Duh? Also, our PE teacher steals hats from students and awards them in the equipment shed. Wait, seriously? It's a private school for specials. No! That's that... God, I forgot the name. How could I forget the name? Forgot the name for that other one. Where, like, a whole bunch of people have disabilities, and it's kind of interesting. Although I heard some criticism that apparently the blind girl wasn't done well, but maybe I'm thinking about a different story where like, the blind person was like, this blind person doesn't act... Maybe I'm thinking of a really shit YouTube... As in, the book is shit, not the YouTuber and the reviewer shit. Where they were like, why is this blind person talking like they have sight? Like, they keep describing things in colors and shit. And it's like, what are you doing, man? Blind people would never describe things as purple. They would playfully, jokingly describe things as purple, because it's like, everyone keeps saying purple's a thing. I mean, everyone... The Blind Raptor is the Blanca Project. I know about... She's such a fucking shit name for someone who's blind and has white eyes. Come on! Oh my god. Olivia is not... It's not called Legolas in Seattle. Oh. Wait, seriously? You know what? That hat hole pass makes a hell of a lot more sense now. Scaler's face reddens again. Come on, she saved your ass a minute ago, lady. He's hoping Ben gets an earful. Earful she's dying to give when Mr. Ferris splits. The gentle giant himself merely nods and writes something down. With a noticeably calmer script now. Scaler barely snaps her grimace back into a passable parade smile. Parade smile. As she turns back, I'm not saying it's wrong, but like my brain does not know what that is out of the gate. I can kind of envision it. It's like you're at a parade and you know the president sitting in the little chair, smiling happily right before the bullet hits him. But you know what I mean. It seems as though there's still some leftover issues from the previous administration after all. Have you already seen to correcting Mrs. Halford's well-founded complaints? Isn't Olivia like the only person who uses any of these accommodations? Because you never really get the impression there's anyone else, and I don't think anyone mentions anyone else either. So it's like, Olivia, when you're out of school, this shit doesn't matter anymore. No one cares. You're out by the end of the year, buddy. Principal Scaler coughs the frog out of her throat. I mean, I get it, but on the other hand, I've already sent the district a request for a technician to see the elevator. Another known clipboard of death. And Mr. Ferris clicks his pen close and returns to his coat pocket. And for my part, I shall see to it that the request is expedited when I return to the office. And this PE teacher, like Mrs. Halford mentioned. Oh yes, Coach, sorry. It's his legal name. I know. Right. Mr. Ferris massages the bridge of his rostrum. Jesus, what a fucking word and a half. Rostrum! Let's see. The beak-like projection, especially stiff snout and anterior prolongation to the head, crustacean of cetacean. Also found on insects. Yeah, I'm probably gonna say something like... Before turning back to Olivia Knight. Why is there a comma there, and why do you continue with a uppercase? Because that's not how that works. Well, I suppose that's enough of an inquisition for today. Scalar mimes a silent but very real So is she miming a silent... or what? If it's real, then... How do you sigh quietly? It's literally breathing. Mr. Moose, how would you say things are going for you outside of school this time? As a growing adult. I awkwardly grimaced at the question. Well, better. Start of the year, I had pretty much zero prospects. That isn't exactly the case anymore. I guess things will be okay. Feeling like it's never been so back. God, why do you say it like that? I'm back, baby! Naktu, baby! Hold up, there's something I want to know. I know there's a guy that like has the cute little script section. Mr. Ferris rubs at his chin, astounded at that turn of phrase. Never been so back. Question mark goes in the apostrophe. And it sounds positive. Ring of the Youth never ceases to amaze me. Fuck, I need to stop handing him freebies like that. Or anything, if it means I'll start talking like a Zoomer again. And you're a Zoomer. Aren't you? Is he? I don't even know if he's a Zoomer. And why would you call someone a Zoomer if you are one? A faint smirk finally graces his cold features again. How the I don't know how to tell you this, but like the whole concept of like Zoomers existing implies the existence of a war that led to the baby boom, which in turn led to all the other necessary terminology, right? Like, I know I'm the guy who complained that stop fucking and getting upset that the word Zeppelin is in a fancy story because nobody fucking knows it's named after some dipshit. But Zoomer is beyond what I consider acceptable you can fuck around terminology. The faint smirk finally... Is Ferris smirking? Grazes his cold features again. Glad to hear the two of you are doing well. A knowing look... yeah, because he knows. Because you literally talked about this. Wouldn't he be a little... Come on. I think I have everything I need for the time being. I interviewed 2 students. One of whom has a bias, and the other of whom is too new. Good job, Ferris. Very good at your job. How do we adjourn? Why don't you sojourn? Come on. I'll go over the future budgetary plans. Oof. It's kind of interesting that for all intents and purposes, Ferris is like very much cowed by authority above herself, you know. It's a lot of bowing. Yeah, Led Zeppelin, he invented the Zeppelins. It's so fucking... Like, I know a lot of people say that's super obvious. If you're in the music world, it's obvious. Where were we? I wish you'd done this freshman year. Olivia sighs and snaps at a chicken Caesar salad forcefully. Why the fuck is she eating so many greens? Isn't she a carnivore? I don't think like that. I mean, sure, freshmen sucked, and Mia still kind of makes shit. I purposely refuse to add on any positivity, simply staring at her with a blank expression. Dick. On a real note, again, I've started to realize that these kinds of timing clues are really not needed in written text. Let your audience decide! On a real note, I say after a laughing fit at my own joke, Anon, are you turning into a normie? Please stop. We're not even at the part where you were allowed to turn into a normie yet. Senior year's almost over. It's not even been half a year, Anon! You can't take back the shit times. At least they're better now, and it will make for better future Olivias and Anons. I cough at the mental image of a hypothetical... Jesus Christ, Anon. This is all men care about, is their progeny. They will kill any woman once they have their kids to carry on their bloodline. And by God, they better be guys to carry on their bloodlines. Anon, why are you so obsessed with your last name persisting? Moose is fucking shit. Hey, says the lady whose name is Halford. It's a perfectly cromulent name, unlike yours, Mr. Mouse. Anon is split-personality. Yeah, fucking Monkey Anon is taking over again. I hate Monkey Anon. I want him to go away. Be gone. And so we're out of here. And then what? Then what? And then taxes, I guess. Seriously, what's that mean? You do art stuff? I paused for far too long as I scrambled to think of anything at all. I was going to fall back to a cheap joke instead. Flunk out of college and ride the rails up and down the West Coast. Aim big. Am I right? And you say that, but like, pretty sure that's what May in that other one's up to, and she's... Oh my god, Olivia Halford, because she's only half of her body. Fuck! Holy shit, I'm so pissed right now. But yeah, Night in the Woods. You know, May is up to that. Maybe you could join May. Maybe that's how we can write that fic. How inspirational. Guess I'll get my art degree. Only time I'm worth a damn is with a brush in my hands anyways. Olivia, you're good and you're a good person and friend. Everything else is bullshit. C's get degrees, you know? Yeah, especially because they want your debt. They want your fucking money. The mood improves a little bit at that. Without any more lighthearted clownery can help. Talking about the future. It's just a massive weight bearing down on both of us. But at least she has a future. A bit hazy. I'm still the same old drift-through-life Anon, try as I might otherwise. She lets out an irritated grunt. Oh my god, stop sitting there moping! Stop like you're really some hopeless, burned-out car fiend or something. Look at her, I see a similar frustration to my own scrunching on her face. For a moment, a sense of indignation almost makes me bite back, but then I realize just how funny this is. Anon's just laughing his ass off. Jesus Christ, Anon. Girls don't care if you laugh at their jokes all the damn time. Have some decency. Ugh. Oh, hardy har, what's so funny about that? Because the gate is calling the grass green, you mopey bitch. She closes her eyes, trying her best not to join in, ultimately succumbing to with a few chuckles of her own. Still seems a bit dour. Not like a couple of my dumb jokes can solve an existential dread. This would already be a millionaire. And on being fucking funny only makes sense in the context of the person reading it going either agreeing with Anon because they're losers or thinking Anon is a loser. Like, Anon's not supposed to actually be funny. Too much, at least. I forgot how much Fang laughs at his jokes or not. I don't recall that being a huge thing.